Hi, my name is Sassy Smith, and I'm the director of Teens Camping Tour of the West. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to walk you through what Teens Camping Tour is and all the places we'll go if you decide to travel with us. I'm going to share a screen with you right quick. And we are all ready. So, Teens Camping Tour of the West. Come see what's yours. Discover America. So, this all started back in the summer of 1967. Our founder, Peter Cole, had a love of working with young people and a love of travel, and he put those things together, and Teens Camping Tour of the West was born. Um, We've been around for more than 50 years now. I'm the third director of the tour. I went out west as a teenager in the summer of 2000, and the trip really hooked me. I came back and started staffing in 2006 and then took over as director in the fall of 2012. I'm really looking forward to telling you guys about TCTW, and I'm working hard to keep the dream of TCTW alive by hopefully taking some of you guys out west this summer. So, some basic details. We leave from Statesville, North Carolina, and we always leave on a Monday and come back on a Tuesday. It's 23 days. We have two trips, one in June, June 10th through July the 2nd, and the second runs July 8th through July the 30th. We travel in a caravan. So these beautiful, they're technically mini buses, but I do like to call them vans. Um, we travel in a caravan of these guys. The seats in the back are in a circle so that you guys can hang out and communicate and play games and have fun in the back of the vans. We're also going to pull along trailers for all of the luggage that you bring along and also the camping equipment, the tarps, the tents, stoves, propane tanks, all of that stuff that I bring along. One of my favorite things about our rides is that we have our own two-way radio frequency. So what this means is as we are driving across the country, we're able to talk to one another in the different vans. The staff are able to communicate driving directions and help each other out. And it's just pretty neat to be able to talk to the folks in the other vans as we're on this epic road trip. This is the route that we take. We will start in North Carolina, head across Tennessee, go up through St. Louis, across Missouri, Kansas, head into Colorado, dip down, see the Great Sand Dunes, across Four Corners, say hey to the Grand Canyon, head down to Phoenix, cut into the southern end of California, spend on the day at the beach in San Diego, the zoo, up to Disney, Hollywood, Santa Monica, the Coastal Highway, San Francisco, top out there, dip down through Yosemite, breakfast in Vegas, head into Utah, prop over to Bryce Canyon, up through Bear Lake, over to Jackson, the Tetons, Yellowstone, Cody, Wyoming, through the Dakotas, across the Midwest. Our last big stop is in Chicago, and 23 days later, we are back home in North Carolina. So we pack a ton into these 23 days that we spend together. I'm going to show you what each day entails. And as we do that, if you look for this little tent, that tells you where we camp each night of the trip to sort of help you keep your bearings. So on day one, you're going to meet me bright and early in Statesville, say those long, sad goodbyes to mom and dad, maybe the family dog if they came along as well. And you're going to hop into the back of those vans. It might be a little awkward at first. 15 new people in a circle back there, but that fades quickly as we make our way over to Tennessee. We don't go very far tonight because we want to get there with plenty of time to get oriented. I'm going to show you where everything is in the trailers. We're going to play a friendly game of volleyball. You see the champs from first trip this past summer. That's my van down there, Woodstock. And then if tonight's your first night camping, no big deal. We'll help you figure out those sleeping bags and ground mats so that you get all tucked in nicely for your first night out west, heading out west. Day two, we're up early as we make our way up to St. Louis. When we get there, we're going to visit the Gateway Arch, once known as the Jefferson Expansion Memorial or the Gateway to the West. When we get there, your eyes naturally are drawn to the top of the arch. And up there are these little tiny windows, and windows are for looking out. So after we check out the museum at the base, we will hop in these little elevators and head all the way up to the top of the arch. 630 feet looking out on the city. You can see the courthouse over to the left, the Mississippi River, and you can also peep right into the Cardinal Stadium. We have a couple different traditions while we're in St. Louis. One, when we have time, we like to write a little something on the ground down there for all of the folks at the top of the arch to see, but we also will pop over to a Cardinals game if they have a home game when we are there. Typically there's a home game on first trip. Second trip, it's kind of a hit or miss. So It's cool to see the arch back there in the outfield, and we'll take in a game, like I said, if there is a home game that evening. We're going to sleep at Graham Cave tonight, and tomorrow morning we are up early again as we make that push across Kansas. If you don't know, Kansas is a very long state. We're going to break the day up a little bit with a stop in Abilene, the childhood home of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Abilene is a quaint little town, sort of frozen in time. Lots of cute folks there. Thrift shops, antique shops, ice cream shops, Greyhound Hall of Fame. Also home to the Presidential Library of Dwight D. Eisenhower. From there, we're going to head over to what's likely going to be one of your favorite campsites of the trip, Cedar Bluff State Reservoir. You can see it down there on the left. We're going to get there with plenty of time to spread out. You guys are probably going to play some spike ball or some frisbee, some volleyball today. Go swimming in the lake there. We'll have a nice sit-down dinner, and we will take in a great sunset. It's always a good sunset in Kansas, and this is also the perfect appetizer for the stars tonight. Kansas always has pretty phenomenal stars, and if you can keep your eyes open long enough, you will definitely see a shooting star tonight before you fall asleep. So I told you Kansas was pretty long. It's also pretty far, and we did drive there. So we spent a lot of time in the vans, and if you're curious what we do in there, we find plenty of ways to entertain ourselves. You are going to make friendship bracelets and tattoo each other and come up with games. You're going to play lots of that sticky note where you're guessing who's on your forehead. And if you sleep real hard in the van, we also might try to see how much we can stack on you while you're asleep, like Katie up there in the left. If the idea of riding across the country in a van intimidates you a little bit, you can ask any past participant, and some of our favorite memories from out west are the times that we spend in the van. Parents, your teenager's halfway across the country, and you're probably wondering something a little bit different. Who did you send them with? Great question. This is pretty typical staff here. One of the unique things about our staff is that they are all past participants of TCTW. So at one point in time, they were just like you and came to a slideshow and learned about going out west and hopped on those vans. I think it says a lot that this many young adults figure out how to get 23 days off of their real lives to be able to come back out west and pass this experience along. We're all first aid CPR certified. I'm also a wilderness first responder, and they're all pretty cool people, and we have all different types of backgrounds, from teachers to sales to owning our own businesses, all sorts of things. I am in the process of finalizing staff for this summer, so check out social media and you will know once that all comes together. I'm really excited about the staff that are going to head out west this summer, so check back and learn a little bit about them. We are going to hop back on the road. We've made it to Colorado and the Rocky Mountains. We're going to head over to Colorado Springs and up to Garden of the Gods. This is a really unique place right in the city. These red rock formations sort of come out of nowhere and surprise you. You can head into the visitor center and learn how these formations were made. You'll also have an opportunity to hike into the formations themselves, boulder around a little bit, check things out, and it's a great way to spend the afternoon. From there, we're going to head over to what's likely going to be one of the more unique places you camp in your life, because tomorrow morning you are waking up at Great Sand Dunes National Park. When I get there every year, I have the exact same feeling. I look out and I'm like, they look like this big. They don't look that big. A little perspective, the arch was 630 feet tall, and we took an elevator up it. The highest dune peak we're going to hike to is 750 feet tall, up a sand stairmaster. And you did hear that right. We are going to get up and we're going to hike this first thing in the morning. We're going to hike a little bit. We're going to rest a little bit. We're going to hike a little bit more. We're all going to struggle the last little bit of the way. I love this picture because you can see where we came. You can follow our trail all the way back over here in this far, far corner where these trees are. That's where the vans are. So we are putting in the work, but we will all make it to the top. And gosh, it is so beautiful up there. Just every direction is quite the sight. That's the Sangre de Cristo mountain range you're looking at. And those peaks are snow-capped on first trip. Occasionally we see some snow on second trip, but it is just phenomenal up here. Took us about an hour and a half to hike that 1 mile to the highest dune peak. It does not take us that long to come back down. This is pretty typical here. Oh, come on. There we go. I don't know if we've ever run down these dunes without there being a wipeout or two. So we will spend a little time getting the sand out of the nooks and crannies before heading over to Durango. This is the first little western town we're going to visit together. It is a train town. So there is a train that you can take from Durango up to Silverton, Colorado. You'll have to come back on your own time to do that because we're not there that long. It's your first opportunity to see a cowboy down there like Miss Ava. This is also the home of my favorite ice cream shop on the trip. You can see the girls there on the left getting some of that, the Bean Creamery there. I know where all the good ice cream spots are, so I'll point them out when we get stopped. Then we're going to head over to Four Corners. You can see this is where 4 states come to one spot: Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. We'll dip in all 4 of them. We'll also take in a little sunset in the desert there. The desert always makes for a great sunset. And then tomorrow morning, you are waking up at a pretty cool spot. We've made it to the Grand Canyon. It is Saturday morning, and we are going to get up and hike today. We visit the South Rim, and the canyon is mesmerizing. It is just breathtaking. Words really don't do it justice. It looks one way in the morning light, it looks a different way in the high noon light, and then it looks completely different as the sun sets. I could sit and look at the canyon all day long, and that's exactly what I'm going to do while you guys do the hard part and go hiking today. We're going to hike on a couple different trails. You're going to be in groups of 7 with a wilderness first responder guide from REI Adventures. We're going to hike on the Bright Angel Trail, the South Kaibab, Hermit Trail, Grandview, a combination of those. And I told you guys I was going to sit around today, but you see me there over there on the left. That's me in this selfie here hiking with this group. So I do hike with you guys sometimes. Hiking in a canyon is a little bit different than what we're used to here in the East. We typically hike the hard part first. We go up to the top, have our little snack, treat, celebrate, and do the easy part second and come down. Today is the exact opposite. So you see that sign, caution, down is optional, up is mandatory. 100% true. You get to decide if you go into the canyon, but we all have to come back out. So we have to do the hard part second. The other thing is it's going to be over 100 degrees. The guides are going to make sure you stay hydrated and fed for the day. They're going to distract you as you're making that haul out of the canyon. You're going to hike down in, be done, have a good half day hiking, and then know that you have to climb up this canyon wall. If you are not familiar with switchbacks, you will become very familiar with them today, because you are going to hike your way all the way up here, and then you're going to switch back and 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 all the way to the top. When you get back to the top of the canyon, it is quite the sense of accomplishment to stand there, look out over the rim, and say, I did that. Every year, millions of people visit the canyon, and only a small fraction of those actually go below the rim. So you're joining an elite club today. This next little line is a bad pun. It's been passed down from director to director. If you've ever seen one of these slideshows before, you've seen it. You guys know the saying, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Are you ready for it? It's quite possible you will experience the agony of defeat. You're going to wear your trusted shoes, but they may betray you. But the staff is going to pamper you when you get out of the canyon. We're going to pick you up in the van, drive you back to camp. I'm going to move off those feet so you don't have to keep looking at them. I'm going to get you back to camp. You're going to shower, and we're going to make you an incredible supper tonight. And then tomorrow, if you want, I'm going to get you up so that you can see the sun rise over the canyon. I think it's totally worth it. It is really early. There's no daylight savings in Arizona, so it's like 5 in the morning here. Early enough that you can go back to camp, lay back in your sleeping bag, take a little nap, and when you're ready, you just give the staff the signal, and we're going to bring you the best breakfast in bag you have ever had. The pampering stops there. We're going to get back on the road, back to normal. We'll say one final goodbye to the canyon and head over to Sedona. Sedona is in the heart of Red Rock country. It is known for energy vortexes. So all around town, there are these places where energy comes out of the earth and swirls. It twists the trees. A beautiful spot. It's known for energy, like I said. So you're going to see crystal shops and chakra alignings and readings and psychics and all of that kind of stuff. It's a great place to pick up some jewelry if you're into that sort of thing. And it's just beautiful. We also like to pick up socks for our sockos today. And right in the heart of downtown, there's always this petting zoo, this group of individuals that want us to not be so afraid of snakes and reptiles. So you'll be able to pick up and pet some of those guys if you want. Tonight we're going to do something different. You don't see a campsite listed. There are a few times when we travel through really hot places, and it makes it a lot easier on our vehicles to do that in the evening. And if the vehicles are happy, we're happy. So tonight we're going to drive through the night, and tomorrow morning you are waking up all the way on the West Coast. It is a new week. It's a Monday, and we've made it to California. Well, our time here is going to start in San Diego. You'll have some choices. You'll be able to head over to the San Diego Zoo. It's a world famous zoo. They have any animal you want to see. If you don't want to do that, you can stay and hang out on the beach, Silver Strand State Beach. We'll head up into Coronado for lunch. This afternoon, we'll all come back together, hang out on the beach, play a little volleyball, spike ball, take in a sunset all the way on the west coast there. Can't get any farther west than sitting on the beach looking at the Pacific Ocean. Now, I always feel a little guilty saying this about the next day of the trip because I love the Tetons and Bryce Canyon and Bear Lake and all of those places, but tomorrow very well may be my favorite day of the trip because we are going to Disneyland where dreams come true and magic is real. We're going to spend the whole day here. We're going to get there bright and early. You're going to be able to find all the princesses you want to find, or the princes, or the Star Wars people because they have the Star Wars land with all the fun rides. You can ride the teacups, um, all of it you can do. My favorite thing to do today is to find all of the things shaped like Mickey's head and eat them. So, pretzels, ice cream, all that. That's what my day is made up of. This evening, we will come together, watch the fireworks together over the castle, head over and watch Phantasmic, which is this laser light show that's going to take you on a journey through Mickey's imagination. I love this part. And then as a big old group, we're going to run and ride Indiana Jones, my favorite ride of the day, Space Mountain, and then we wrap everything up with a little bit of ice cream at Gibson Girls Parlor on Main Street. You are going home tired tonight because we are shutting the park down. It is after 1 o'clock as we make our way back to the vans. It's a quick ride over to camp, and tomorrow I'm going to let you have a leisurely start to the day as we head over to Hollywood. We'll head up to Hollywood Boulevard. You can find your favorite celebrity star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You can find the handprints in the Grauman's Theater there. But mostly, we're all itching to get to Santa Monica. This is an afternoon favorite on the trip. When you think of a California beach town, Santa Monica is probably what you're picturing in your head. These big, wide beaches, a walkway where people are riding their bikes and roller skating, and their bulldogs are on skateboards along by them. Muscle Beach is there, so you can give it a go on the rings or the rope swing. You can head out onto the pier, which you see in the pictures on the upper right up there. There's a Ferris wheel out there. Or you can be like these guys on the bottom left, find yourself a nice little local spot to eat. They're eating at one of my favorite spots, Cha Cha Chicken. And like I said, you can head out to the pier, ride a Ferris wheel out there like Thomas, or a roller coaster. Just a really great way to spend the day. And then tonight we're sleeping on the coast again. And tomorrow morning we are back to early mornings as we head up the coastal highway. I always like to say that this is a guaranteed wildlife sighting day, and it's not because of this pig. This pig was a surprise for us this past summer. We found it on a beach. It was someone's pet. It was pretty cool. But if you look at the beach up here, these big guys out here by the water, those are elephant seals, and they come up on the beach for their skin to dry out so that they can molt, and they are really cool to watch. So we'll watch them for a little while. But we're going to drive from sea level to hundreds of feet above sea level as we wind through the mountains that line the California coast. This will be your view out the window today. And then tonight, you're going to lay your head down amongst some tall, tall trees at Portola State Redwood Forest. Huge trees. This is a really awesome campsite. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna show you guys a little detour. I always like to give you like the big plan. And I get asked a lot, do trips look the same from year to year? And for the most part, yes, we do most of the same things from trip to trip. But occasionally things happen. Post COVID, we got to do a lot of different things that first year after COVID, and so many of them are so great that we've kept some of them around. But also things from construction to campsites renovating to fires and weather can cause us to have to change things on the fly. And I like to show you guys that when something like that does happen, we always come up with something fun and interesting to do. It's not like we just hang out at a mall parking lot or something like that. So this is a spot that we started camping at in 2021, and we've stayed at it a few other times. It's right up the coast from Malibu. You can see the ocean from camp like there in the middle, and we get another little sunset there on the beach when we do that. We also had this really cool thing happen this past summer. That is the night sky on the right there, and this big white light moved across the sky and out to the ocean, and then it kind of like dropped down towards the ocean. And I was like, this has to be Elon Musk. Anytime there's something interesting in the sky, I say Elon Musk. We do get to see the Starlink satellites often on the trips. And this was like a Falcon 9 shuttle launch. Apparently, we didn't have cell phone service, so the staff couldn't look up what this was until the next day, but it was really cool to see. And then we get to figure out what we all think about like aliens and UFOs as well. So we're back on the road. We're heading into San Francisco. We're going to spend the morning in Chinatown, a really unique spot, a little bit of everything you can find there. It's also a great place to eat some authentic Chinese food. We'll head over to Haight and Ashbury if you guys would like this afternoon. And then we will do all of the quintessential San Francisco things. So you can check out Lombard Street, like the gals in the middle there. It's the crookedest street. So it's switchbacks, but for cars, you can see them. There, we'll head out to the wharf. On the bottom right, you can see Alcatraz off in the distance there. This is where you're going to want to grab a bread bowl with some clam chowder if you want. And today is a day where you're going to navigate with a paper map. So I'll make sure you know how to do all that. And then you can check out Ghirardelli Square. We'll all head over to the Golden Gate Bridge together, and I'll drop you off on one side and you can walk your way across to the other. A fun way to experience the bridge, and then we'll hit up In-N-Out Burger because you can't go to California without having a little double animal style. From there, we're going to head over and meet our pal, Steve Seskin. Steve is a singer-songwriter of country music. He's written lots of number one country music hits over the year. If you are a country music fan, you will likely recognize some of them. And he lives in the Bay Area, and he's a friend of ours. So he will host us tonight and play a little concert for us. A great way to wrap up the day in San Fran. And then tomorrow, we are headed to a place that I absolutely adore. It has all the things that make me happy: green grass, blue skies, huge waterfalls, big stone mountains. I am talking about Yosemite. When we get there, you can head up to the base of Yosemite Falls, go swimming in the pool at the bottom, look out into the valley, or you can just find yourself a nice little spot to go swimming along the Merced River. I'll warn you, the water here is very cold. That's because it's like snow, glacial runoff. So it's pretty much ice. Pretty refreshing for a hot afternoon. And as we make our way across the park, we're going to stop at the Tuolumne Grove of giant sequoias. Trees so big that at one point they cut tunnels through them and you could drive a car through them. We learned that kills trees, so we don't do it anymore. And of course, today is the day that the tree huggers come out of the woodwork. I got to be my own laugh track when I'm recording these. Hopefully, I got a giggle out of you. We'll have another drive through the night tonight, and we come very close to Area 51. So we will stop at our favorite alien-themed gas station before wrapping this drive up at breakfast in Vegas. I do like to show you one more detour here because Yosemite, occasionally we don't get to go to for a plethora of different reasons. A lot of times it's on fire and smoke makes the valley kind of not enjoyable or healthy and safe for us to visit. And then every once in a while, the snowpack is so big, like last year, that the road that we used to pass through the park wasn't cleared until late July. So when we don't get to visit Yosemite, we head on over to Utah, my favorite state, a little early. Utah is the home of 5 national parks, but it also has a incredible network of state parks that are really cool. So we'll spend the afternoon. We'll stop at Seven Magic Mountains, which are those colorful boulders right outside of Vegas on our way through, and then we're going to head over to Snow Canyon. It's a really unique place. There are petrified sand dunes. There are these like lava caves there, the start of slot canyons, and a really incredible campsite that feels like you're in a movie set. We'll have a little evening hike. We'll get up, watch the sunrise the next morning, and then we will be back on track for the rest of Utah. We're going to head over to Bryce Canyon. I think everybody knows what the Grand Canyon is, and it gets all the glory. And Bryce is just out here surprising us because we don't know what to expect with its hoodoos and dreamsicle views. A short 3-mile hike will get you down to the heart of the canyon, the Queen's Garden, and back up to the rim. You'll have some great stars in Utah tonight. Most of Utah is a designated dark sky area, so really incredible opportunity to see all that the sky has to offer. Tomorrow morning, we'll get up and get a beautiful sunrise, and then make our way over to Salt Lake City. This day's evolved a little bit over the last few years, and I know that this has like St. Louis, St. Louis, Salt Lake City is the home of the headquarters of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we'll go by Temple Square so you can see what that looks like. Uh, Lots of LDS don't drink coffee or tea, so they have these soda shops where you can customize sodas. So we will hit one of those up, and you can get your favorite soda with I'm a Dr. Pepper gal, and I like to add cream and like some raspberry puree and like a twist of lime. But you can customize all kinds of things from energy drinks to seltzer waters to Gatorades. We'll do that, have little pretzels in one of those shop as well. And then I know this next part has a shelf life, and I'm only going to do it if you guys are excited about it. But if it is something you are into, we will head over to East High School and see where the Wildcats did their thing. We'll see Sharpay's locker. You can head into the gym, the cafeteria. Of course, we'll take a little iconic picture out front there. And then make our way over to one of my favorite spots on the trip. Bear Lake has really creeped up there in terms of spots I love on the trip. We'll get there in time to hang out and go swimming in the evening, take in a really great sunset together, and then tomorrow morning we can get up and watch the sunrise over the other mountains before heading into what's likely your favorite state of the trip. We have made it to Wyoming. Our time here starts at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. Ski resort in the winter. In the summer, they have mountain biking and hiking, and you can hop on the aerial tram, which is what we're going to do, and ride up to the top of Rendezvous Mountain, 10,450 feet above sea level. When you're up there, 360-degree views of awesomeness. You can see all out over Idaho, turn around, and you see all the valley known as Jackson Hole. There's also a waffle shop up there, Top of the World Waffles. The Englishman is my favorite. That one's lemon, but they got like bacon and peanut butter and Nutella and all different kinds of flavors. So we'll grab a few of those and chomp down on them before heading into the town of Jackson. It's pretty touristy, but we love it here. Right in Town Square, there are these arches made of antlers. There's an elk refuge right outside of town. We love to shop here, so mom, dad, siblings, it's quite possible you'll get something that says Jackson on it. There's also a mountain coaster at the far end of town as well. We'll spend a little time here. We love to shop here. I said it's a great place to pick up some matching jams as we go into the coldest couple nights of the trip. We'll leave town and head over to Grand Teton National Park. This is our home tonight and tomorrow night. When we get there, we're going to set up camp, have a great dinner. We'll watch sunset together. We do have tents. This one is not being set up because it's raining or anything like that. First trip this past summer was probably the coldest trip I've ever been on, and we were setting these tents up so we could stay warm. And oddly enough, second trip was the hottest trip I think I've ever been on. So I experienced it all this past summer. Tomorrow, when you get up, you're going to have all day to explore Coulter Bay. You'll be able to hike through the trails there along the lake, rent boats today if you want. You're probably just gonna hang out on the shores and soak up the majesty that are the Tetons. If this is all we did today, it's likely it'd be one of your favorite days of the trip, but we're just getting started. We're gonna go meet Barker Ewing for a scenic float trip along the Snake River. So we are going to float right along the base of the Tetons as the sun sets tonight. Um, Beautiful sunset over the mountains there. It's also going to be one of our best opportunities to see wildlife. So we'll probably see some bald eagles. There's a really healthy population of bald eagles that live along the portion of the Snake River that we float. Uh, we're lucky when we get to see a moose. We did see one this past summer. And my favorite is when we see a bear. You see that little cinnamon guy in the middle there. And this is my favorite way to see bears because they're on the banks. We're in the river. There's no way we're going to interact. But we have to keep our eyes peeled and be quiet as we float along tonight. We'll say goodbye to the Tetons and head right next door to our first national park, Yellowstone National Park. We're going to head up to the Old Faithful Geyser Basin. Um, we got to time it right to see Old Faithful. We've been pretty lucky, so we'll hopefully see it go off. But if not, there are also a lot of really incredible geysers and thermal features in that basin that you can check out. We also see wildlife today because those bison are always holding up traffic. We'll have to stop for a few of those. And I do like to just throw a little bit of TCTW trivia back in here. This is Sarah Davis. She was the first female chief ranger at Yellowstone National Park. She visited us at camp while she was there. She retired, and so she's not there anymore, but it's cool that one of TCTW's past participants was the chief ranger at Yellowstone. We actually run into past participants all over the place. We're a small network, but somehow we're a little bit everywhere, which is cool. We're going to head over to Cody the next day. You'll have some choices today. You can go hiking, you can go whitewater rafting, you can just hop on into town. There's a cool Museum of the West there. You can hit up the Irma, which is a historic restaurant right on Main Street, for a buffalo burger. And then everyone is going to want to hit up the Bargain Box. That is Cody's local thrift shop. And you might be like, why do I need to go to a thrift shop in Cody? Well, we are going to the Cody Night Rodeo and you need an outfit. This is what we think cowboys and cowgirls look like. You can be the judge how good we do based off of the real ones we see when we're at the rodeo. Cody's famous for rodeos. They have one every day, Memorial Day through Labor Day. We go on a Friday night. First trip this coming summer will be like last summer, and we will be there on the first night of Stampede, which is their 4th of July celebration. And for us this year, that meant that we got to see bull riders and bullfighters, and then there was a concert, and it was so much fun. And then on second trip, we saw the traditional rodeo with calf steering, calf roping, and barrel racing, and broncos and bull riding, the whole 9 yards. Either way, it will be a great night at the rodeo. If you're adventurous, you too can give it a go on a mechanical bull there. And then I also like to throw this detour that we've done a few times in the past few years as well. If we don't go to the rodeo, we'll pop over to Devil's Tower National Monument down there on the left, which is this really cool geologic formation that just sort of really surprises you because just this big tower that juts out of the earth. Pop over to see Mount Rushmore and spend the night in the Badlands and kick off that next day with a little hike through the Badlands. Either way, we'll wrap up tomorrow morning and hit up Wall Drug. I don't like to tell you too much about Wall Drug because it is a unique place. They lure you in with free water and 5-cent coffee, and the next thing you know, you're out in the backyard making new friends, meeting jackalopes. So yeah, it is one of those things where once you've been, every time you see one of their bumper stickers out in the wild, you're like, I know. So yeah, we'll visit Wall Drug. It'll be weird and we'll all like it. And then it is day 20 and our time together is coming to a close. So we're going to spend a little bit of time getting cleaned up. The staff's going to make a big old cookout dinner for you, and we're going to commemorate the 20 days we've spent together. I think we look pretty darn good for 20 days of camping right there. The next day, we'll cut through Wisconsin, and you can't do that without making a stop at a cheese store. So we'll try out some cheeses, get some snacks, share some crackers, have a little charcuterie together at camp that night. And then tomorrow, taking on our last big stop of the trip, it's going to be for breakfast in Chicago. Long enough for you to check out the Michigan Avenue and hit up the Bean and eat at a little local eatery. And then 23 days later, forever in the flash of an eye, we are back home in North Carolina. To call this undertaking a tour is an unavoidable simplification. The staff and I are going to try to make it something much more than that. It's going to be an experience that leads to your involvement with others and awareness of your surroundings. Your senses are going to be keyed to the discovery of this great country, its majesty, its proud people, and its creativity and its productiveness, but ultimately to the discovery of oneself. So, we're going to travel over 7,000 miles together in 23 days, check off 21 states, 7 national parks, lots of state parks, share 67 meals, 35 new friends, and come home with 2 sore feet, but there's only one teens camping tour of the West. So that gets you through the 23 days. I want to share a few other things with you all. This is, like I said, hopefully going to be an experience that is a lot more than just sightseeing. In these 23 days, we are going to do life together in a van. There'll be 13 teenagers back there and 2 staff on each vehicle. And like I said, all the staff are there because we went out west and this trip changed our lives. There's an application process. You apply on active.com and you fill out all the basic demographic stuff. You'll get an email that says, here are some other things you need to do. Those things are a Who Am I paper or video. That is just an opportunity for you to tell the staff about yourself. We want to get to know you a little bit. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I don't like to tell you too much because if I do, then I get, all the applications will tell me exactly what I give you as an example. And what you choose to tell me and the rest of the staff tells us something about you. We are excited to learn about you. I can tell you that it is interesting when people have likes and interests and they're willing to share those things. So even if you think your hobbies or your interests are not super interesting or weird or boring, I promise you that we are excited and looking forward to learning about them and about you. The other things that need to be included in your application are a letter of recommendation from a peer and a letter of recommendation from an adult. These people shouldn't be related to you, and they should be people that know you well. It doesn't matter if they have any accolades to their names. They don't need to be past participants. They just should be someone who knows you well enough that they can tell us something about you that you might not be willing to tell yourself. These are informal, so they can just write a letter and return it to you, and then you can upload it to your application. If for some reason they don't want you to see it, that's totally okay. They can email it directly to me at sassy@tctw.com. And I'll get it connected to your application. And then we need a picture of you because we want to be able to put a face with all the things we're learning about you. There is not any magic combination or thing we're looking for in a participant. We just want someone who is excited for this opportunity and who is willing to open up and share themselves with us. So if you have any questions about the application, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email me. You can call or text the TCTW number 704-657-5628. You can also use the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and message on there, and you'll get me as well. If you have any other questions, please reach out. I would be happy to answer them for you. And yeah, I think that's like the basics. Uh, Anything else, feel free to ask in the comments on this, and I will answer it and reach out to you. Put the answers in the comments there. And I think that's all I have for you. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that it has gotten you excited about the opportunity to travel with us. And please feel free to share this with anyone that you might think might be interested. Oh, our age range. To be eligible to travel with us, you have to be in high school when you apply. So the earliest you can go is the summer after your freshman year, and the last summer you can go is after the summer after you graduate high school. So if you know anyone in that age bracket, please feel free to share this with them and also my contact information. Thanks, and I hope to see you guys soon.